Hi, folks. Rick Berube here again on this Tuesday, Facebook Live. You know, another one. We today in a series of Paul. We've been doing this for a year now. This is pretty amazing, actually. Today we have a special guest from our Sahara office in Las Vegas. His name is Jamil Wehbe. Welcome to the show, Jamil. All right, and I picked. What's that?
I feel famous now with all that.
Yeah, you do. You do. Right. Well, that was the studio audience that you can't see, but it's actually here behind me. So there you go. All right. We're all watching you on video. So, hey, the reason I asked you to come today is, well, before we do that, tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been in the business, all that good stuff, please.
Well, my name is Jamil. I'm here in Las Vegas. I've been in the business since of July 2017, and it's been one great year so far.
Yeah. And so you've been in the business for about 4 years now, just about 4 years now, right? Am I doing the math
Yes.
right? Yes. Okay. So,
Yes.
and last year was probably your best year. Is that correct? Even though we're having this crazy
Yes.
thing, pandemic.
Yes. As long
Yeah.
as you kept doing your job, it was a great year.
It really was, wasn't it? Once we got past like,
Yeah.
well, it was about a year ago today. I was looking at the numbers before I came in here. It was about a year ago today, where as a company, our pendings went down to as low as they were before they started heading back up the other way. Because it didn't take long, if you remember. Once it kind of slowed down, it started going the other way rather quickly, and then by mid-June, we were
Yeah.
back on the same pace.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us a little about like your first 2 years in real estate. You did okay, and then you started cranking up a little bit, didn't you?
Yes. So, I mean, the first 2 years I was part time, and then I eventually got to a point where I was either going to be all the way in or all the way out. So I went forward being all the way in, and it was the best decision I ever did. Uh, Learned some great stuff from the support system, uh, and now I'm just keeping at it.
Yep. You're keeping at it. You're being consistent, and one of the reasons, like I said, I had you on today is because of your prospecting. You've really cranked it up, I would say, in the last year and a half with your prospecting, haven't you?
Oh yeah. So every single day I do 35 contacts minimum. Could take anywhere from 3 hours to 5 hours, but regardless, I have to hit my 35 contacts a day. So if I don't hit those contacts, I don't see myself hitting my goal for the end of the year. So I have to be disciplined and consistent, accountable, and I'll hit my goal.
That's great. No, so everybody out there, that's 35 people he talks to, and look at him. He's alive and kicking. He doesn't have any really major damage. A lot of people think talking to 35 people a day is almost inhuman, but it's really not that bad, is it, Jamil?
No, I mean, what else do I have to do if I don't have anyone to go meet? I might as well be calling people and setting appointments to meet somebody.
Finding somebody to meet. Yep, I know that chain of thought, my man. That's the way to be. You're either on an appointment or trying to be on an appointment. That's a great mindset to have. Okay, if you want to be a top producer in today's market. So 35 people. Like, who do you talk to?
So I talk to first. I'll start out with new expires, which there's only a handful of those. Then I will call my SOI, so centers of influence, and then I will call just listed, just sold, and I'll call for sale by owners, and then I'll hit my old expireds, and that's where that's where I've been having a lot of luck actually is in my old expireds. So anything from a year to a year and a half old, and now they've got the prices are where they wanted to be when they were listed.
Right. So you're calling. So tell them. So if I remember correctly, you started with RedX, and then you eventually graduated up to Vulcan 7, didn't you?
Yes, correct.
So just so everybody understands, RedX is a service that looks up old expireds for you, and they have a customized search, so you can keep on going back in time. They're scrubbed, meaning that they could have been on the market 3 times before, and the fourth time they haven't relisted, and you call them. And sometimes, I mean, some of these people, Jamil, I mean, no one's talked to them in months, and then you call, right?
Definitely. And I probably talked to them year and a half ago too, but the price wasn't what they just couldn't get what they wanted at that time.
Right. So it was really price versus motivation, and now the prices are better. So
Definitely.
they're probably looking to make a lateral swap, right?
Yes.
And which is great for you because half the people or more that you list need to buy once you make them homeless and sell their home, don't they?
Well, definitely. They don't want to live on the street with all that money.
Right. I love it. Yeah, that's what I used to tell them. I'm going to make you homeless, so we need to find you a new home. That used to be one of my lines when I was selling. People are like, "What?"
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. And the studio audience. You really like that one, didn't you? Yeah, appreciate that. All right. So anyway, I'm being a little goofy today. So anyway, so take us through. All right. So in the last, let's say, 90 days, you've gone on a pretty good run listing old expires, haven't you?
Yes. So I took actually right now I took 8 old expires.
So far this year.
Yes, so far this year.
All right, so give us okay. So just so they understand, so these are old. People go, that's a waste of time. Okay, let me tell you something, just so you understand. Like Jamil and a few other people. All right, that's why I told him. This is what I told Jamil. I said, Jamil, you can come on and tell everybody what you do because almost nobody's going to do it. You're not going to have any competition because I've been talking about this for 5, 6, 7 years since I've been with the company, and there's only a few of you doing it. And one of the reasons I brought you on today is maybe after today, Jamil, a couple more will do it in Arizona, California, or even Nevada, but you still won't have any. I mean, do you have, when you talk to somebody who's a year and a half old expired, do they say, oh, geez, Sally and Tom and Jay just called too? No, right?
Definitely. They just think it's starting up again. That's what
Right.
that's what after that call they're like, are we going to be getting all these calls again? They're just trying to figure out what happened.
Right. Because they do remember the first couple weeks they were expired. They did get a lot of phone calls, right?
Definitely. Yes.
Okay.
But once I tell them their house is worth what they wanted, the whole conversation changes real quick.
And then they love you. Could you
Yeah,
imagine
definitely.
calling them in the last year and a half now? It's probably gone up 20, 22%. And then yeah, guess what? Your $200,000 home is now worth 240, or your $300 is worth 360, on and on, right?
Yeah, and they're real quick to sign the contract after that.
Excuse me. I'm your angel. I'm calling to tell you that your home is appreciated by 25% in the last year and a half, 2 years, and I'd love to help you. So just okay. So that's where the conversation starts during the year and a half expired. Okay, give us a couple examples of so you listed 8, just so they understand, their motivation and things. Give us a couple examples of ones that you listed, please.
So one of them, so there was one that was listed actually, it's been listed for 2 years actually. And for some reason it just didn't sell. And I called the old expired, set the appointment, went down there, and I sold it actually at incoming soon the first day. Actually, 3 hours it was sold. So then after that, I had a couple other ones. They were also old expireds, which I had actually talked to them. I had notes. I had talked to them probably a year and a half ago, and I knew what they wanted. And right before when I looked at it, I looked at what their home was worth now, and I was like, "Well, bygone, we're ready to list because it's exactly what they wanted." So basically, gave them a call, let them know I've been watching their home for them, and here we go. That was it. So that's pretty much how all of them have been going. So basically, as long as their price was where they wanted to be, they had motivation to sell, but money was more of the motivation. They couldn't do it unless they hit a certain price. So now that's where they're at.
Right. So just so they all understand, of these 8, most of them, if not all of them, you spoke to them a year ago, 8 months
Oh,
ago,
definitely.
6 months ago, 4 months ago, and then all of a sudden, okay, it's time. So that's why I'm trying to get
Yeah.
them to see. This is not, oh, you mean I'm going to call old expired starting on Monday, and by Tuesday I'll have, no, 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 no. You're going to have to
No,
fill
no, no.
a pipeline of people that require follow up, and right. Tell them a little about that.
Definitely. Follow up is the name of the game. If you're not following up with these people, you're not going to get them. There's going to be somebody else that's following up with them, and they're going to contact them. So actually, a couple of them that I did take, there were other agents that actually were talking to them, and I actually got the listing. but I decided to work on a holiday. So
Yeah.
I
Uh,
ended up calling them the right day. The next day they called them. And the guy actually told me, he said, XYZ called me and they were upset that I listed with you. So, but I was right there. He said they didn't call me in time. So I listed with you.
well, you think about it. I'm a seller. I'm going to list with the person who's
Yeah,
showing the most urgency, right? Of course I am. So good
definitely.
for you. Good for you. And I like, this is something I just learned too. I like the fact that you're taking, like, in other words, you're talking to them, you're listening to their story, and they'll tell you, like, well, when my $350,000 house is worth 400, call me back then. And you did. All right. And then,
Yes.
now the price is where they want to go. So when you're talking to them, you're taking really good notes. You're following up. You know where to go back because of what they said and you said, right? Plus, we have that great
Yeah.
VA 2.0, so you can set them up on neighborhood reports, market reports, newsletters, all that crazy stuff. So they're also getting emails from you, right? All that. You probably handwrite them a little note after you talk to them the first time. Do all that good stuff,
Definitely.
right?
Yes. That's,
All right.
I write the note the day after, or that I send one out that same night, a note for them. And then I will actually call them to let them know I sent it out. And then I will call a few days later to actually see if they received it. So just to make sure it got to them. And then I'll follow up with my regular, then I'll put them in my normal follow up.
Okay. So I just thought of something great. I'm going to have everybody who's doing success series today with me because today I'm talking about scripting and I'm talking about prospecting. And I actually used you as an example yesterday, Jamil, too. I'm going to say everybody has to go to my YouTube channel and watch this interview with Jamil. Okay. And once again, only 10% of them might consider doing it. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You think about it, independent contractor, you can make all kinds of money in this business if you do a few things. And a lot of people choose not to do those few things, which obviously you did. You went, okay, so let's give all the plugs here. You went to the Success Center for a while with Jamal, all right? That must have been confusing. Jamil. You went
Yeah.
to
It is confusing.
he's in my coaching too, and he's a great guy. You guys are both great guys, but you like
Yeah.
he started a little before you, and he started prospecting, right? It's the same exact story. So you went to the Success Center. You probably watch it on the Google Hangouts once in a while too. So you learned scripting. Tell me a little about that process, please.
Yeah. So, I mean, actually, Jamal and I actually got our license pretty much at the same time.
Oh, cool.
So we're familiar with each other. And so he actually runs that now. So I watch that. I get tips. He has an actual Google Hangout thing that I just actually found out about that. So I'm going to start doing that. So it's like a Google Hangout prospecting. You can
Yeah.
learn from other people on what they're saying. They can take something from you. It's just a good learning tool.
Yeah, if you go to the Success Center live, and right now we're having it in the St. Rose bullpen because there's more room to do the class, right? And then they go back up to the Success Center where all those prospecting booths are, okay? And they do their prospecting, and that also has a link on it live. So you can, and I think that's on Zoom actually, right? So everybody can see each other prospecting. When someone
Yes.
starts, they go into the middle of the screen. So it's like a live prospecting chat room. So go to the Success Center, talk to your manager, get the link for the Success Center, okay, at 9 a.m. every day but Tuesday, because you should be at your office meeting, right? And then you can also get the link for the live prospecting, which has got to be great. He's been doing that a couple weeks now, Jamil.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, is there anything else? Because remember, you've got some people on here who have never talked to anybody but people they know. Any other tips you may have for them about getting this prospecting journey started? Because it wasn't easy for you, but you kept going. You just said it too. I kept
Yeah.
going. So tell them a little about that, how to
It's
get started.
it's definitely not easy at first. Rejection's never easy. But you just have to keep going after it, and it'll eventually start paying off. You just have to. You're going for one yes. They're not going to jump through the phone and eat your face off or anything. So it's you just have to keep going. That's really the hardest part is the rejection. I feel like, but you're going to get rejection with anything in life, so you might as well just keep pushing through.
Right. It's so true. It's so true. You get used to rejection. It stops bothering you after a little while too, doesn't it?
It's normal now, so and
Yeah.
actually they're not as bad. I mean, out of the day I might get one or two, and I'm talking to 35 people, contacts a day. So one or two, that's not that bad, actually, if you think about it. You might have called them at the wrong time. You don't know what's going on in their life. So just move on. Don't take it personally and keep making your calls.
Yeah, that's the key right there. And like that's why I used to tell people, which you can't do this anymore, but I used to tell people the best way to get used to rejection is join Mojo Triple Dialer. And by noon today, you'll have more rejection than you've ever had in your whole entire life because of the amount of people you'll talk to. But if you're making 35 contacts a day, like you said, one or two of them may be a little off the charts, but the rest of them are, I mean, they're not really bad people. Like you said, they don't jump through the phone and eat your face off. I like that one.
Yeah.
Well, and they either need your service or they don't, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they don't have motivation, then they're not going to want to talk to you.
Right. Right. And just so they understand too, when you talk to 35 a day, you might set one or two appointments, but you probably will add how many people into the CRM that are, I rented it for 2 years. I might be taking this job, that have other stories. Like how many people would you say out of 35 you're adding into the VAC 2.0 per day?
It's probably a good 2 to 5 I average a day.
So think about that, folks. 2 to 5 a day with stories. Now, that's why you just went through a roll of eight new listings from the beginning of the year from old expireds because your pipeline is starting to runneth over a little bit, right?
Yeah, and as long as you follow up with them, you don't stick them in there and don't do anything with them. You still got to call them after that, So that's the main thing you have to do.
Yeah, that's the truth. You said it right there too. Remember my little saying: when lead follow up is done properly, it feels like semi-stalker lead follow up, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, they don't feel that way if they need your help.
Right.
So
motivated.
They don't go, why do you keep calling me? They know why I'm calling, and I'm keeping up with them. It's not always business. I just call to see how they're doing. Sometimes. So build a relationship with them a little bit, but at the same time make it still business. I feel like so they know they want to. So you're not just a friend. You also have a job.
Right. Yeah, you're a real estate agent who wants to list and sell and help all their friends and family, and such a great comment. And so now that you have this prospecting habit, I mean, tell them, doesn't it make you feel a little more secure and confident about your future in this business?
Well, yes. I mean, from where I was when I started to where I am today is a big difference. I had a great support system with John Joseph when I first started. And Mary Coleman, they all really helped me throughout. Now I have Suzanne, I have you. It's Berkshire Hathaway. They just have an enormous, support system.
I really appreciate. That's right. I forgot you had started with John Joseph. That's right. Well, yeah, he's a good example of how to do it as well. Definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, he's very big on schedule, and being accountable. So that's one thing I've always kept that in mind. So I got good habits from the beginning.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. Great stuff. Okay, so speaking of that, well, so let's say that compared to 4 years ago to compare to now, if you could give them what you know now, the 3 most important pieces of advice, what would they be for those agents out there?
The most important thing would be the discipline to be consistent and accountable to hit your goals. And
consistency. Okay, good.
Yeah, and make sure you take advantage of your support system to be, they'll keep you accountable, and just go out there and do it.
Yeah, show up every day, right? Do the Nike. Get out there and do it every single day. So have a plan, hold yourself accountable with the people around you, and then show up and do it every day. I love it. Okay, Jamils Frozen. Okay. Well, that was perfect timing anyway. So, Jamil, you are frozen. So, and you froze there. Oh, there he is. He's back. Can you hear us? Good. I was going to say, at least you froze in a good pose. I mean, you look like a good picture of you. So there you go. All right, my man. Any final words you want to leave these wonderful people before we close?
Just get out there and prospect.
I love it. Get out there and do it and make prospecting a heavy part of it. And people are thinking, that's why you had him on here, because he prospects. Exactly. Busted. You got me. That's exactly why I had him on today, because he's prosperous. He's young. He's in the business. He's talking to people. So all those crazy excuses like, well, millennials they don't want to use they don't want to use anything but the computer. Well, Jamil uses the phone. All right. He's learned scripts. He prospects, and he's having an incredible year because of it, because now he has that positive momentum around it. That momentum is beautiful, isn't it? Feels good.
It is. You just want to keep it going. So as long as you stay consistent, it will.
That's right. And people will always say, well, what if I have more business going than I ever have? Once you develop the habits, you can't help it at that point. You just keep going, right? So it's great.
Yes.
All right, Jamil, thank you very much for taking your time out today. Keep it rocking. Look forward to talking to you in the near future. Everybody else, I'm doing Success Series today. Jump on if you need to. We are on Google Hangouts. We also are doing it on what's that one called? Zoom. If you need CE credits, but you have to go to the website, the education website, to sign up for that. And that's about it. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. Jamil, thank you once again. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. See you soon. Bye now.